Hey everybody, thanks for joining me today. So I often get asked about mixed media supplies and what are the best supplies to buy or the best tools. And I don't want people to think that you've got to rush out and buy all this expensive stuff in order to be able to make mixed media art. When I first started doing mixed media art, I had already spent a fortune on scrapbook stuff, and I did not have the budget to go out and spend a fortune on mixed media tools now. So through watching a bunch of different videos and just being curious and trying different things, I found a lot of things around my house that I could use from the dollar store that I could use, and I just wanted to show y'all a few of those today. So probably my utmost favorite, and you'll probably see that a lot of artists do this too, it's just the perfect tool, and that is bubble wrap. It comes in different sizes. Probably this medium size is the one that I use the most. But there is a giant or a large size one, and I'll use that too if I'm painting a larger canvas or a larger piece. But this small one, you just simply brush some paint over the top of it, and then you can stamp that paint on anything, any surface, whether you want it to be your art, your canvas, tissue paper, whatever. I'm going to switch over to a darker paint here color so y'all can see better. But this is something I use often. I always have bubble wrap laying around. And everybody laughs when we get packages. I'm like, don't throw away the bubble wrap. So I have endless supplies of bubble wrap, but that's how often I use it. But it just makes a perfect little tool because it makes the perfect size little bubbles. And you can put as heavy or as light as you like. You can cover as much surface as you want. It's just a great way to add background and texture. So another thing that I find that I use often is this corrugated cardboard. I think I bought this piece at Hobby Lobby maybe for 59 cents when it was on sale. I think it's 99 cents regularly. But I like to cut little pieces of it. A lot of times I'll do it in shapes. Or sometimes it's just a section, a little area that I want to use because I'm looking to get that, the mark that this cardboard makes. I got a little white on my brush, so it's making pink. The marks that this cardboard makes on the rivets, because it gives me a texture when I go to stamp. I just love the lines and how that shows up. So again, you can paint the large surface of it if you like, or you can just do a small section. But that's one of my favorite tools also. I use that a lot. Then besides that, just look for things around your house. Like I've got this package of sponges. It makes a really cool pattern. I just think this is awesome, and I love using this as well. You don't want to overpaint an area because that little splotch will show up on your page or on your canvas. But if you'll lightly brush, I should have dipped my brush before I did that, but if you'll lightly brush the surface, it will just dab the top parts of this sponge, and it makes the coolest little stamp. I need to put more on there. Again, you want to kind of dab it because otherwise it will clump on there, and you'll definitely see that on your page. This just makes a really cool little pattern. And look at the different sponges because there's a lot of different patterns. This one just sort of makes a splotch pattern, but I just love that. And again, they come in different sizes and shapes, and if you'll look at the textures, you'll see that you can get different textures with the different sponges also. Oh, one of my all-time favorite things, flip-flops. The bottoms of flip-flops have the neatest patterns on them, and it is often a large surface if you want it to be, or you can cut it up and make it into little smaller stamps if you want it. This is often one that I like. It's a kind of a crisscross pattern. It does make an awesome, awesome stamp. I'll show you what this one looks like. So here's the crisscross pattern, which I just love. Love, 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 love that. And then here's another one. This looks like a crisscross pattern, but it's kind of cool. If you run across this, what you're really going to see is that the ridges of this, what the paint is picking up is the high ridges. So now I have created like this striped stamp, and so when I turn it around, I'm going to get some stripes. Again, I didn't use a whole lot of heavy paint here, but I use this one a lot. You'll see it in a lot of my backgrounds because I just love it as sort of texture, and it also just adds a little bit more dimension. And sometimes I'll use it against the image that I have. If my image is running this way, then I'll be sure I use it this way, because it just kind of creates some interesting patterns, and make sure I take in more. So again, this is one of my favorites. So just take a look at the different patterns. Here's another one, and this one's really, really cool. It's a whole unique pattern of its own. So again, just play around. What's cool about these is, you know, you get two sandals for $1, and you've got tons of room that you can use. Cut it up in small pieces. Look, I love that. I can see that being a pineapple, the base of a pineapple. That would just be absolutely perfect with the right color. Oh, that's just gorgeous. Love, love, love that. Let's see. Don't be afraid to try different things. I think this was actually a canvas bag that holds lingerie, to wash my lingerie. But again, it has such a great circle pattern, so I held on to it. And I love using stuff like this. It's like a bonus whenever you're doing something different and you find, oh my gosh, I can use that for my art. So see, that makes a really cool pattern too. The circles are a little more dense, but again, a whole different tool without you having to go buy really anything. Maybe spend $2 or $3 at the dollar store. But be curious like me. Go around your house and look for things. Here's something else you'll see a lot. A lot of times I'll use circles in my art. I'm just really, really drawn to them. And one of my favorite things is to take the paint and just line the outside of the circle, and then make a circle imprint on my page or on my canvas. For me, with mixed media, it doesn't have to be perfect. So some are going to be heavy. Some spots might be light. Another way you can do it is put a little dab of paint on your canvas, twist this around a little bit, and then again, you've got it on the edge of your surface and you can go around pressing it. And I use different size ones. I've got tiny ones. I don't even remember where this one came from, but I remember doing a whole painting with these because I loved the size that it made. You can squeeze it and get an oval shape. You can just keep it the way it's supposed to be and be a circle. Here's a lid to a perfume bottle. Again, it's not a perfect circle shape. It's a little bit of an oval, so I like using this one because it's something different. I tend to use circles, just circle shapes, but this sometimes will just give me a little bit different look. It gives me an oval look. This was a lid off of something. I don't remember now what it was. I think it was some kind of hair thing. But it's got these little bitty holes in the top, if you can see that. And again, if you don't have the money for stamps, find something like this that's got some holes. Let's see my basket here. Another thing I had, I used my old one so much I had to get a new one. It's a sugar shaker at the dollar store. And I just take this off. My other one got so clogged that I no longer had good circles pattern. And this makes a perfect little stamp. You just put it down, stamp your paint in there, and look at those beautiful little dots in their cute little size. And if you look around your house, you will find things that make bigger dots too. So that's another fantastic way. Cardboard. This makes a great circle too. All I've got to do is just use the inside to trace. I can even trace the outside, and now I've got a good little bit of a lip on the circle. I use credit cards. Don't ever throw away your credit cards or your hotel keys. Oh my goodness, I use these all the time. You don't have to have a palette knife if you don't want to. This is a great replacement for a palette knife, but it works so awesome, and I love the way that it spreads because it just sort of picks up here and there, especially if you've got texture on your page or on your canvas, and it just grabs the high spots, which is just fantastic. So I use credit cards all the time too. That's a big one. Here's the inside of a tape dispenser, and we find a lot of loose things. We don't even know what the heck they went to. This is a great example. I think it came off I'm a keyboard player. I think it came off my keyboard stand. An old one, but this lip is a perfect little circle, and again, it even gives me a little handle to hold on to it. It's just fantastic. So now I can use that as a stamp. So look for anything. Look for anything you think you can use. This was a candle from a lid. Again, I could put that down and trace it. I can even use this as a little palette or something if I want to, but don't be afraid to look around and find things that you think you could use, different textures, different shapes, different patterns. And the other really inexpensive thing I want to share with you, rather than going out and buying a ton of scrapbook paper, look for tissue papers. It goes such a long way. You can get a packet of tissue paper for $1 at the dollar store. I got this textured pack for $1.99 at Hobby Lobby, and I love this one because it's a woven pattern and it just adds beautiful texture to a page or to a canvas. And because it is sort of a sandy brownish color, it just kind of blends in with everything that you do, no matter what you're making. So this is probably one of my favorite tissue papers. I also use wrapping paper because, again, that's a big tube. It goes a very long way. I may spend $1 or $2 on the wrapping paper, but can use it for years and years. So that's another thing that you can do that's really inexpensive. And you pick out the tissue paper. I think I got this one at Walmart, but look, it's got beautiful flowers on it. I can either tear off just a flower at a time or use this, maybe a whole piece as a background to get me started with maybe a flower canvas. Another favorite thing is sewing patterns. Look at Hobby Lobby, Joann Fabrics, or your fabric stores, and they're always putting patterns on sale. It doesn't matter what the heck the pattern is. It could be, a 5-year-old pumpkin pattern, but it's big, it goes a long way, it's got some really interesting markings in it, it's transparent, so it won't cover up necessarily what is underneath it, and it is super inexpensive, but like I said, adds a lot of texture, and a lot of interesting dimension to your pieces. And here is a piece of lining for the inside of your cabinets, like when you move. I just recently moved, and to put my glasses and my bowls and stuff on top of this. And this was just a little piece that I cut off that I had left over. And again, it makes a really interesting pattern similar to one of these. So just be very creative, and once you get used to looking for it, you'll be like, oh, that'll work. Oh, that'll work. I can go on a walk and come home with the strangest things that'll work as either mark making tools, something to add texture, or something just to add a little bit of interest to my pieces. Another one of my all-time favorite things is this. This is tape that you'll find at a hardware store. It is tape and bedding tape. It's for sheetrock. And what I really like about it is a tan beige color, a neutral color on this side. So if you want to use this in actual piece in your artwork, you've already got a neutral beige piece color. But if you've got a piece that's really colorful and the beige might kind of just blend in, you can use this other side and not even have to paint it. It's already white, and it creates such contrast and such interest immediately. But more importantly, as a tool, you can use this like a stencil, just like I showed any of the others, and dab over it, and it makes the most cutest little tiny dots. And I just love that. You'll see those a lot too in my artwork. I'll just throw in a few little pieces. I'll use some of the contrasting colors and the papers that I'm using just to show a little more color and a little more interest. So, that's basically it for today. I just wanted to encourage you and share with you that you don't have to go out and spend a lot of money. Start playing with some of these tools. See what kind of patterns you get. See which ones are your favorite. And I shared with you some of my favorites, but I haven't done a sponge in a long time, and after looking at this, I absolutely adore this pattern. So you will definitely be seeing some of this in my upcoming work. So don't be afraid to try different things. Just take some paper, try it out, see if it's something that you like, and then if it is, put it in your toolbox, and it'll be something you can use from here on out. So thanks for joining me. I hope you got some helpful tips today, and we'll see you next time.